Hello, everyone. You normally follow Canon Planning for great direct sales planner coach tips. Today, I'm going to be taking you on a fun adventure through one of my most favorite hobbies, and that is using a book planner. I love to read. I am inspired by a lot of amazing authors. I learn a lot of things from them. I read a lot of self-help books so that I can bring you all of the latest and greatest information in helping you to be better planners and all of the things. And today I wanted to share with you my love of reading in a planner. And so I'm going to walk you through my 2025 book planner. I'm going to tell you all the things that you can find and where you can find them. All of them are from Tula 12. I will tell you the name of the insert. And if you check the links below in this video, you will be able to go directly to all of the products that I have talked about throughout the course of this video. So without further ado, let's take a look. All right, you guys, absolutely love this planner cover. It was actually released last year, and I'm glad that it's still around, but this is our Just One More Chapter. And if I can get it to the right angle, you can see the embossing. There it is. It says Just One More Chapter, and it has a beautiful open book. It has the great spine on the side of it, and this is in a large size, perfect for setting up a reading planner. I am not sure if the charm is still available, but if it is, you can find that at Tula 12 as well. I did not list that below. All right, let's take a look at what I have in it's a very chunky planner, and we're actually going to do some updating. So you're going to get to do some things with me because I finished my first book of 2025, and we're going to add that to all the things. So let's take a look. First of all, we're going to open this up, and inside you are going to find that I have my library card housed here. I am a huge lover of the library, and going to the library is free, and I love free. So any chance that I can get to go to the library, I'm going to go there. I also have included 2 bookmarks in here so that I can, if I need an extra bookmark, I can grab them. I have a tendency to use magnetic clips in my books because these get lost, and magnet clips, they hang on. So I usually don't lose them along the way. The first thing that I have here is actually a plastic pocket. And in the plastic pocket, I've used the mixed media kit, as well as a plethora of leftover stickers, die cuts, washi tape, all kinds of things. Using the mixed media allowed me a huge advantage in being able to clear out pieces that are in my sticker book. And I love it. So I've used journal cards. Again, there's die cuts. These are die cuts, strips of paper, deco paper, stickers, all kinds of fun things. On the back here, you're going to see this is a journal card from that same kit. On the front, this is just paper, torn, die cuts, stickers, all kinds of fun things that I have included, washi tape, all kinds of fun stuff. So that's just to get us into the book. The next thing that you're going to find when I get in here is the yearly book tracker. Now it says book tracking on the front, but it is called the yearly book tracker if you go search for it. Again, if you're in the comments, you can find the links to all of these inserts that I have used along the way. But before I dive into that, you will notice that I also have each of my inserts that are labeled with, I used a label maker and actually labeled each one of the inserts so that I could easily flip to it. When we get to the TBR section, you will also find that there are labels there as well. So I'm going to show you guys how I did that. But these are the tiny labels, tiny tab stickers, and you can find those again at Tula 12 with the link down in the comments. So book tracking, the first thing inside of the book tracking is a nameplate. And because this is for 2025, I chose to just write 2025 on all of my nameplates just because I can keep them all together that way. Again, lots of stickers, washi tape. This is mixed media washi tape. Some of the solid colors are just ones that I had around. Stickers and die cuts are from past kits and all kinds of fun things. So I could not tell you where any of those are at this point. They're probably, the majority of them are retired, but I can tell you that I've used bits and pieces from all kinds of collections along the way. Inside the very first page is book of the month. I did use stamps and Tombow markers in my journal. The stamps were just ones that I had on hand, and I could not even begin to tell you where I got them from. The Tombow markers, though, are obviously ones that I got from Tombow, and the link to my favorite bullet journal tools is also in the comments, which includes a link to the markers, the Sprocket printer, which I use as well. All of that stuff is going to be found in that particular section. But this page in here gives you 12 months for you to put your favorite book of the month on here. You will find also that when I get to the challenges, there's a little bit of redundancy, but I like the redundancy because I like stats and all that fun stuff. So also included inside of here is 12 pages for you to set up as a monthly. I'm going to show you how I have my January and February set up already because they're already done and how I'm using them. But you will see that you are going to have access to 12 months worth of pages. Before I dive into that though, let me talk about this. This is just a year in pixels tracker. You can use it however you choose. I chose to set it up by pages read. So I have 0, 1 to 25, 26 to 50, 51 to 75, and 76 plus. You'll see that I am a big reader. I could probably sit down and just zoom through a book. In fact, I did finish this one book that I was reading on within just the first 5 days of the month. So the next page is designed for authors. I have a tendency to start this over every year because I fall in love with new authors every single year. So I kind of like to see maybe the genre changed, or I found an author that was suggested to me. So all of those things, I list those authors by the year, and then I can go back and, as I've fallen in love with an author, go back and read some of their old things if I choose to. So that's what this page is for. So I already mentioned the monthlies. This is a take a look at my January layout. You will notice that here it says new releases and books purchased. I am not a huge book purchaser, and therefore I probably will not be, I'm so sorry for the balloons. I will not be utilizing these pages probably. I will be more apt to use them for books that I checked out from the library. So I just changed this washi tape over the top and then just changed it with my stamps to say library. Again, lots of fun. I included some fun snow elements into this particular layout. In here, I track by page. So how many books did I read or how many pages did I read of a particular book? And they are color coded. So you will see the first one, and this is the one that I finished reading. We're going to talk about it a lot today. This is The Dead Guy Next Door. And the other thing I'm reading right now is Getting Things Done. This is a self-help book. I don't necessarily read in it every single day. And so you will see that it'll be long stints where it will have just a green line because that's the color that I'm choosing to use. And then how many pages I read. So, but this is the bottom book, 81, 52, 125, 80. And then I ended up finishing this today. So I'm going to show you what I do to finish those out. At the back, I have my markers stored here. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this. And then I'm going to grab my micron marker because this is how we're going to finish this out. So I'm going to go ahead and actually move my magnetic clip because it's in the way. And I'm going to close this book out. So to do that, I'm just going to draw a circle. I'm going to grab my marker that matches this book. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the dot there. And then we're going to take the fine tip, not the brush tip. And we're just going to match each of these up. And there we have it. That is our first book of the year. So I'm super excited that I get to do this because then I get to show you along the way. So I have my January set up. My February is set up to go, and then as the months go by, I'll finish setting up the other ones. The last page in this particular tracker is a book of the year. So you have your goal to read, how many pages or how many books do you plan on reading? What you actually read, if there's a quote of the year, your book of the year, and then, of course, there's a place for you to write notes if you choose. So that's all in the first insert. All right, moving over to our challenges page. This was just a basic dot grid. And again, I decorated with lots of fun things. This was from our Enough Quotes design, deco kit. And then I just had random stickers and fun things to put together. So this is a dot page. There is no title page in this particular one. So I utilized the papers and a journal card to be able to put this one together. And then we'll dive right in. All right, the first page is book count. So how this works is I decided to do mine by genre. A lot of people like to do theirs based on like 5-star reads, those kinds of things. I'm doing mine by genre. So I made myself a key. There are several markers, and I use historical fiction, self-help, fantasy, romance, mystery, nonfiction, and miscellaneous. My top 5 are right here. So historical fiction, self-help, fantasy, romance, and mystery. Those are usually the ones that I'm most geared towards. Also, I normally use Goodreads and Storygraph for my information. So what I wanted to do here is I'm going to go to Storygraph. And what I will do is I'm going to go to the book that I finished reading, which is Riley Thorne and the Dead Guy Next Door. That is the name of the book. Although I'm just going to go by the Dead Guy Next Door instead of Riley Thorne. Because she is the main character in the book. So in here, you're going to find a couple of different things. And I love Storygraph for this particular reason. In here, it tells me it's fiction, mystery, and romance is the styles. Now, I have historical fiction, self-help, fantasy, romance, and mystery. I have both of these, but I'm going to go with the first one in here, which is mystery. So I'm going to grab my dark green marker, and I'm going to color in this first book as a mystery for my book count. And again, you guys are getting to do this with me so you can kind of see how the book tracker or book planner is designed to be used. I'm going to go ahead and number this. This is book number 1. So I have 1 book to add into my count. So that's how you would go over the rest of the time. You would just write as you read your books, you fill them in with whatever style or genre they are. All right, moving on to page number 2. This is a book log. Again, I have them written down in several different places, but I love being able to utilize them for this purpose. So if I can find my pen, which I stashed around here somewhere, because I'm the efficient type, and I have lost my pen. Good thing I have a plethora more pens to choose from to write things down. We are going to use, I don't know where my pen went. That's so weird. It was right here. All right. So this coincides with, it says number, title, author, page, and ranking. So we're going to go here. This is book number 1, and I'm going to call it The Dead Guy Next Door. The author is Lucy Score. It had 542 pages, and I actually gave it a 5-star ranking. So that's how you would fill out this particular page. All right, next one is finished books. So I hadn't decided how I was going to do this specifically yet because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for my key, whether I wanted to do it by genre or whether I wanted to do it by ranking, those kind of things. I am going to stick with genre. So I'm going to go back here and pull the color from my genre, which is the mystery color. And I finished this book on January 5th. So I'm just going to color in this block on January 5th. Now, if I finish other books throughout on that particular day, I can maybe do a cross mark and do 2 different colors. It's completely up to, or I can write a number in there, 1 or 2. So that's what this particular page is. The next page is my rating system. So I use the Compile system. It is something that I learned off of watching TikTok, actually, and then I had to go research it on YouTube. And I love it so far. Basically, you are rating the character. Was I invested? The atmosphere. Was the world built? So was the world that the book took place in built up so that you kind of felt like you were there? Writing style, how is the writing? Were there a lot of grammar mistakes? Did it make sense? Those kinds of things. Plot, how was the storyline? Did you love it? Intrigue, did it keep my interest? This book very much kept my interest. I didn't want to put it down, hence the reason why I finished it last night and stayed up very late to do so. Logic, did the story make sense? Yeah, it was easy to follow, and I just enjoyed the characters, the storyline, all of those things all put together. So you give each one of those a rating out of 1 out of 10, then you do your averages, and then it helps you decide which one it happens to be. And that one for this book was a 5. All right, moving on. These are 2 pages that I actually found again from TikTok. The name of the lady that I followed that gave me the idea is Lindsay Bueller. I hope I did not like butcher her name, but she says an amazing setup, and I loved following her. But in here, she talks about 2 different pages. There's the publication date, and then there is the page count. So the publication date basically just goes by how you read the when the book was published, and then you again color coded. This was published in 2020, so 2020 is a bright pink color. So we're going to grab our pink, and we're just going to fill in book number 1. So there is book number 1. Then over here is the page count. My book had 542 pages, which makes it this beautiful blue color. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this one. So that takes care of my first book of the year. All right, moving on to the next one, 5-star reads. Now, I did not print out a double of this. I will go back and do it, but I use a Sprocket printer. It looks like this. And you can print it out into collages. So these are the first 4 books that I have on the docket to read. And it will print a collage like this. If you print it in this format, you can cut it down into 4 shapes that will fit into the boxes the way that I have designed them. So I will have to print another one, but this will go in here. I'm going to just take a pencil for right now and write The Dead Guy Next Door. And then when I get another one printed, I will put this in here because I specifically printed this off for another reason. Dead Guy Next Door. Okay, so that will go there because that was actually a 5-star read. And that's what this is designed for. The next one is a library savings log. Again, I already told you that I love to go read books from the library. And so I wanted to track how much money I was saving over the course of the time. So there's a number, title, and then I'm going to use Barnes & Noble as a way to price it out. That way it's all the same. And then give the suggested retail price to the library savings log. So that's coming up. The next one is my 2025 book bracket. That will get filled in over the course of the year. So again, back here in this insert, we had the top favorite from every month. That is very similar to this. So I will just write the titles here. Then they will go head to head, etc., until I get down to one book that is my favorite. All right, the next page is my 25 and 2025. This initially started out as a bingo, but there were so many great books from the Goodreads app. I went back and looked at all of the tops for each of the genres that I love. And there were so many great books that were included in there that I wanted to go and read them. So I added them bingo style into my book. I took my 5 favorite genres and the 5 top books that I hadn't read, included them in here. And then as I read them, I'll just color them in and we'll call it good. On the other page is in new words. Sometimes when I'm reading, I come across a word that I didn't know before. And so I wanted to write the word here and then the title of the book that it came from. I don't necessarily need the dictionary version. I can go look that up. I don't necessarily need to know what it means, but just like, where did I hear that word from? The next page is Alphabet Challenge. This is also where we're going to incorporate this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take The Dead Guy Next Door and we are going to add it in here. We're not going to use the, a, an, of, and all those kinds of words. So we're going to start with the dead guy. So dead. And we're going to just write the title in here. The Dead Guy Next Door. And I'm going to include who wrote it. So this is Lucy Score. Okay, and then as I go along, I will continue to write the books in here. What I love is that the challenges that I created, I have several books that will go in several places. You will see that in the next 3 challenges. So there is 1, The next page is the Read the Rainbow Challenge, and this is what I specifically printed this out for, and we're going to put it here. So this is The Dead Guy Next Door, and this is a yellow book, and so I thought, how appropriate, I will put it in the yellow square, and then I will have this one done for the year. So there is my first book for Read the Rainbow. Now I did the 6 basics. So there's red, orange, yellow, green, dark blue, purple. Those are the regular, but I also included a light blue, a pink, white, black, brown, and gray cover because why not? It just sounded fun. Plus I had space and I needed to come up with some other colors to go in there. All right, the next page is Read the Country. Now, my favorite genre of book is historical fiction. I love historical fiction, and I am normally stuck in World War II, Nazi Germany, Holocaust. That's my favorite era to read. But not a lot of those particular books take place in the United States. And I wanted to challenge myself this year to really dive into and read books that came from different places across the United States. So this particular book, and you can use this a couple of different ways. You can do it by where does the author live or where does the book take place. This particular book takes place in Pennsylvania. So I'm just going to write that in here, The Dead Guy Next Door. And then I'm going to color this state in right here, Pennsylvania. Hopefully I know my states well enough to know that this is Pennsylvania. If I don't, oh, Lord help me. So there's Pennsylvania, one book done from my Read the Country. All right, the next page actually I've left blank because I just started with a book club, and so I wanted to incorporate that in here, so I haven't designed it yet. So that's what's going to go in here. The last page is my stats page. Again, the bottom's not finished. That will probably happen at the end of the year when I kind of compile all my thoughts and feelings about it, but I added a little decorative element, and then I'll read to you what it has across the top. So the number of books in each month, were they physical or Kindle books? Did I get them from the library? Did I own them? How many chapters did I read? How many pages did I read? What was the average length? What was my average rate? How many were 5-star and how many of them are DNF? Now, I very rarely DNF a book. I am one of those people like I started it, I'm going to finish it. But every once in a while, there comes a book that I'm like, I cannot get into it. So we'll see how many actually end up in that column. So that, you guys, is my dot grid. This is basically the challenges that I wanted to do over the course of the year. All right, the next one is books read. So this is, again, another way to kind of track the books. This helps me with start date and notes, quotes, those kinds of things. So this is the book. This is the insert. It's called Books Read. And there's the nameplate. Again, not going to be worrying about putting my name, but I did put the date. And you will see that in here I have The Dead Guy Next Door with Lucy's score. Now, my intention, and I will have to print some more pictures, is to add one of the book covers on here so I can see the picture of each one. So each one will have to like kind of go into the page above it, which is totally fine. So I am doing the book next door, and my color was the dark green color. So I'm going to go ahead and color this in as a 5-star read. And I could have used the fine tip version of this marker if I wanted to, but I did not opt to. So in this, you're going to write, here we go. The book title, who the author is, what the rating is. Did you finish? When did you start reading it? When did you finish reading it? And do you have any quotes that you want to add to it? So it says notes. I wrote that it's a Book Dragon book club, which I'm super excited about because that is the first book club I've actually done, and it will be fun, kind of fun to go through there. I finished reading this on 1/5/2025, and I actually have 2 quotes that I took pictures of that I saved to be able to read. And this one was also Kindle, and I want to make sure that I write this on here. because I don't have any other place to track that right at the current moment. The other book that I'm reading is Getting Things Done. I actually started it back in December, and it's for my Plan and Place book club. We do one book a quarter. So that's the books read insert. The next one is the book series. I have not populated this one except for in pencil, and I will explain to you why. So here is the nameplate. Okay. So as I was putting together this 20 and 25, many of these books that are in here are actually part of a series. Like this one is the second book in that series. Excuse me. This is the third book in the series, the second book in the series. So I had to write the series names down so that I could figure out where the books were. So you'll see there's the Ruinous Love Trilogy, which is by Bryn Weaver. There's books by Emily, or the book series Emily Wilde by Heather Fawcett. There's Crescent City. Everybody knows the Crescent City series, I'm pretty sure. And then Assistant to the Villain. So they're just penciled in there right now until I get in there and start doing the things. I am one that I cannot start in the middle of the series. I have to read the other two first. Hence the reason why these are added in here, even though I don't get to count this off until I get to the third book. It's kind of a catch-22. We'll see. All right, that is the book series. Now the last one is my TBR. This is books to read, or books to read. So TBR. And this is kind of how I sectioned this one off. First, the very first page is my physical books to read. So these are all of the books I currently own. And no, there are not a whole lot of them because, again, I do not buy a whole lot of books. These all happen to be books that I got at a book sale for very, very cheap, like $1 a book. And that's the way to go if you're going to own books, because I read them so fast and I very rarely go back and reread them. So there's a list of books. On the next page is my self-help books. So all of the books that I want to read that are self-help or that are planner related, those kinds of things. I've included those. And then historical fiction. I love a good historical fiction. So I have a very long list of historical fiction books that I want to read, and I'm super excited about diving into those. And then there is, I don't think I've gone any further, but I have some romance books on my old TBR. I'm just kind of organizing them a little bit better so that they're easier to verify the genre and those kinds of things. So you will notice that I've been flipping back and forth to grab pens out of this. I wish that we still carried this with Tula 12. However, we do not. It makes me very sad because I love this particular thing because it happens to be the same size as my Kindle. And I can shove my Kindle in this side pocket if I am traveling, and it's right there along with all of the markers that I am using in my book tracker. So that's it, you guys. That is a look at my book tracker, how I plan to use it going into 2025. And if you are a book planner book lover as well, I recommend grabbing a book planner just so you can kind of track and see how you did over the course of the year. So take a look at the links that I've listed below. Grab yourself some of those fun trackers and get started with your love of reading as well. And I will see you all soon. Bye, friends.